All right, let's get into it. Woodward Sports chat thread. Just what's your takeaways? Let's just do it right there.
Right.
Like let's just start right here. D-Mac, what's your takeaway?
Offense looked like it should be, especially red zone and stuff like we expected. So they're on play. Takeaway is they go out and they won a game that they needed to win for many different reasons. And going into the bye week at 3-1, having to face the Cowboys, you're in a great spot. I mean, you're in a great spot. Yes, there's some concerns to improve upon. It wasn't perfect, but I think that the biggest question is when was this offense going to get going? And that question was answered.
100%. It had the vibes, didn't it? Like the
Ben
Ben Johnson was in his bad
no matter
vibes.
what you threw at us, we're coming back. And look at the way we did it. You know, we gave you the whole menu right there, right? What did I say at halftime, Kenny? You and I were talking. I go, look, wait, it's coming.
Yep.
That JMO shot's coming, and sure as heck, boom, right when they needed. We answered every time that they answered. And it so that just shows me when you get in against a team with a good offense, and it doesn't matter how many points or how many yards I give up to the other quarterback or whatever else. At the end of the day, what's the score look like?
Yeah, and that's where I was going to come in with my take on it. Like, I see it a bit differently than the people in the chat at the watch party yesterday. And look, we talked about the Mason Leaches and the Mazes, and there were a lot of them in the chat. But D-Mac, for me, the game flow of that game, the Lions were never not in control.
Right.
Never not in control. They were always the boss. From about the midway point of the first quarter till the end of the game, the Lions were in charge of that game. 6 touchdowns on 9 possessions?
Yep.
I want to say it was. Like, what are we talking about here? What do you mean it's slipping away? What do you mean, like, oh, they're breaking down? Like, what are you talking about, man?
So well, man.
Like, wait, look.
Shit is a disease.
And people, people want to talk about the defense, and Catsbot said something along the lines of that pass defense won't hold up against Minnesota. Well, I'll tell you this, though. They're also not going to throw the ball 56 times. Here, the second half was even better. You want to know how it was defensively? You want to know why it was better? Because in the first half, Geno Smith's averaging about 8 yards per pass. He ended the game at 7 yards per pass. What's the problem here? What's the problem? Like, they threw the ball 56 times. They held the ball for, I think, 12 minutes of the third quarter because Jameson Williams scores in about 8 seconds. Like, that was the game flow of the game. The penalties were the penalties. Like, when the Lions were about to blow them out of the building, they called that ticky-tack defensive holding to keep their drive alive.
Yeah.
You see that all the time. If you watch this league, you see it all the time. It's the nature of a one-score league. That's why it's a one-score league. It's always like that. And then the game flow changed, and then refs were chasing a call. Then they had to chase that call with another call. You see it all the time, guys. You see it all the time. I was never concerned that they weren't going to win. See it in every sport. That's where I kind of noticed the trend when I sit courtside doing basketball games. I'm like, that's interesting. That seems to happen over and over again. So, like, it's very easy to understand. There's a little bit of nuance.
Understand the why.
Understand
right?
the why.
Not the right or the wrong, but the why.
But the overriding message from me, they were never not in control. That was a perfect NFL win. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yes, it was perfect. So there you have it. That was my takeaway. KG, what'd you have?
The defense is still good. I don't know what people are talking about with this defense, but I saw a defense that made the plays when they needed to make them. Yeah. Let's not even get started on the first half. They absolutely shut down the Seahawks in the first half.
7 points.
K9 had under 10 yards at the half. You had people stepping up, man. Shout out to Rodrigo. He made some plays. Jack Campbell had a forced fumble. Both of your corners had pass deflections in the first half. So they were completely null and void, a one-dimensional team going into the second half. And they made the plays they needed to make down the stretch. I know it wasn't perfect. It turned into a shootout like you alluded to. They were chasing calls. The refs were a little bit. And you hit the nail on the head last night, man. They were missing Derek Barnes. They were missing Brian Branch. They were missing these players. And you saw that, once game flow started dictating and the Seahawks started getting back in it. But overall, I thought they did a great job defensively. And this is still a good defense, y'all. Hang tight with this defense. Hang tight with Terry and Arnold. We know about the calls, but it's the NFL, man. You're going to get these type of things. But overall, I loved how the defense played.
And when you here's some food for thought, by the way. Alex Anzalone, this comes courtesy of footballguys.com, which is a great website where you can track like snap counts and stuff like that. Alex Anzalone played 90 snaps last night. 90. 9-0.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying here, man?
Yeah.
He had a week off. Off a concussion. So
Carlton Davis played 88. Terrion Arnold played 84. Like they were down men yesterday.
Absolutely.
And those guys had to carry the mail. And they did. Spenmo, what was your takeaway?
The offense is back. Like, this is what Ben Johnson has been talking about, and Dan Campbell saying, like, offense 401 this year. It's a graduate level class. We saw them go back to their roots really in the beginning of running the ball, hitting the play action, hitting Jameson Williams on a deep crossing route over the middle for a big touchdown, which I called, which is in the parlay, just saying. Nice. And
you can rewind the tape.
And then you see the little trickery. Obviously, the Goff, reverse pitch and then throwback, the Philly they ran in there, that was awesome. But Jared Goff wasn't forcing the ball into his receivers, which you love to see. He was taking what the the defense gave him. He was hitting the open guy on time, on target. Literally a perfect game for Jared Goff, and the offense just looked masterful. This is what I expected it to look like this year, and we finally got a game out of it where everything was clicking at once.
You know what? A couple things his best plays. I said to Kenny at halftime when he was 12 for 12 is taking the sack, not throwing the ball away. In the past, we've seen him try to force it in, and earlier this season, I thought in the first 3 games he was a little bit. He wasn't as taking care of the ball as he should have, and he was a little bit. He got back to that because even the sack. There was the two things on that. And does anybody else see that slowly but surely? I think him and Tim Patrick are developing something along the lines. It's a little different because it seems to be a little deeper routes than what Josh Reynolds is, but with that size receiver. But there's a comfortability. Like I'm going to say right now, like Tim Patrick's going to play a big part in this offense, probably in the second half of the season. Because there's something there, and that's the one thing I wanted to ask you guys. Did you see like there's something adding him up there that he brings to that offense?
No, it is, and it was good to see him out there getting the mix and things like that. And like, look, that's the role he's going to have. I think we're on where we're on with the wide receiver group. That was a good microcosm of what they're going to be.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra's the control guy. Jamo bust. Is going to bust. He's the home run hitter. And then you got a bunch of I guess you could say Gio Urshela's around. They're rock solid, right?
Yeah.
Rock solid. You told me that.
Patrick Bay plays last night.
No, I'm kidding.
You could do worse.
You could do worse.
I'm almost going to throw a flag, Kenny. I got the flag in my hand.
Yeah, you're right. Get ready to penalize him, man.
He almost deserved a flag on that one. But
well, you told me he's solid.
I'm going to want. Hey,
you could have had
not
one.
that type of game today.
It is not that. You're not going to chase a bad call with
I'm
a bad call.
not chasing a bad call.
All right,
I'm just going to
like
keep
it.
you warm.
I like it. Woodward Sports chat thread, jump into there. Nicholas Duncan, Monty smoked Witherspoon. I think Spenny kind of described it best. He put him in the ground like Jimmy Hoffa.
He really did.
For real.
He really did. Like I said, this is my. I'm going to play it as much as I can. This is my favorite singular NFL play of all time.
This was a 2-yard gain that turned into like 30 or 40.
Yeah, just absolutely obliterated that man. Breaks off of 3 more tackles. Ends up turning up on the edge. Just put this man in the dirt. Like, read him his rights. That is just, bro. Like, that shit was amazing. I love David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Spenny's just going to leave that on a loop for the whole segment.
Oh, yeah.
no doubt.
To that point, how many times do you think in watching film today that thing's on loop for
you know it
for 2 minutes? 2 minutes out. Because think of the room, right? When that comes up, the room will just explode, and then they'll put it on loop, put it on loop, put it on loop. Like these, I just think back. These are the film days where you want to go in, even though you're probably gonna get yelled at for a few things. It doesn't matter because it's the vibe of the whole.
Yep.
Woodward Sports chat thread, Key Ozzy says, what bothers me is that people always talk about how injured like the Seahawks are, and they never mention the fact, the Lions were dealing with a lot of injuries as well. And Key, look, we talked about that yesterday when we were at Feldman Chevrolet. Shout out Feldman Chevrolet. We talked about that yesterday, and I'll continue to talk about it. I've released my statement on that. Everybody's hurt in this league. I don't care. And I'm not saying like I don't care that they're hurt. I'm saying
It's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse, dude. Everybody in this league's dealing with it, man. That's the way the league is built on attrition. How can you survive attrition? And how do you survive it? Alex Anzalone plays 90 snaps coming back from injury, as a matter of fact. That's
impressive.
Guys, I'll say it like this. A good friend of mine told me one time, the only way is through.
Yep.
I can't remember who that friend was, but I'm sure he was a pretty good guy. But that's it, though, D-Mac. That's all I'm on. That's all I'm on. The only way is through. That and gang shit. That's all I'm on.
See, we talked about this last night. The context is there. It's just the delivery. That's all. We get there.
I think the delivery has got to be dry like that because it adds to it. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
I can't like
Well,
do
it's like
the
when you're
song.
mixing your
This was
delivery
better
and your
than
tone.
last night. This was better than your bees in the trap drop last night. So I give you about an 8.5 on that. Okay.
I thought the bees in the trap one was elite.
Nah, that
Man,
wasn't your
that's
best
bullshit.
work. That wasn't your best work, man.
All right, whatever.